Come on. Yes!
Hey folks, how you doing? Stephen Kambotrout here, otherwise known as Kambotrout. I'm coming to you today from my hotel room in Seattle, Washington. I'm out here for work, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to try and get a video online for you. So, today's video is going to cover the importance of cloud cover as it relates to snakehead fishing and what you can do to try your best to still catch those snakehead on those days when you don't have cloud cover, because it can be a real struggle. So the structure of this video is going to be similar to my last one. In my last one, I did a lure review between the Strike King Rage-Tail Toad and the Stanley Jigs Ribbit Frog. So if you haven't seen that one, go check it out. But the reason I bring it up is, there I did a lure review, and after the review, it led into the actual day of fishing where I used them for all the fishing action. So today's video is going to be similar to that. I'm going to start off by explaining to you why the cloud cover is important, and then get into the tactics that I've learned to use on those days when you have bluebird skies and less than ideal conditions. So first things first, why is cloud cover important for snakehead? Why does it affect their behavior so much? Snakehead are conditioned to fear those kind of bluebird skies and direct sunlight because of the predators that they encounter. Green herons, great blue herons, ospreys, eagles. All of these birds are predators to northern snakehead. So if they feel like the sunlight is beaming down on them, that makes them much more visible to the birds that would actually prey on them. So what happens as a result on those days when you have bluebird skies? Well, generally speaking, in my experience, they go deep into cover and the bite shuts down relative to those days where you have that good cloud cover. When you have solid cloud cover, they feel much more safe to come to the surface, to explore, to feed, and that's generally speaking when you'll get them out from cover. But those are the great days. Those are the days you hope for. You hope for low wind, low tide, or a moving tide, and cloud cover. Those are your money days for snakehead fishing. But let's say you don't have that. Well, if you have a convergence of like all the bad factors, high tide or flood tide, high wind, bluebird skies, unless you really want to go fishing, unless it's your only day you can go fishing, I would almost recommend you stay home, because those fish will be so far up in the cover, you'll just spend the whole day hearing them occasionally popping and feeding back in the cover and not have any chance of reaching them. But let's say it's just bluebird skies, all right? It's still bad, but it's not as bad as it could be. So, when you have these bluebird skies, what the fish are going to do, in my experience again, are going to go deep into cover, and they're going to be in those areas where they can maintain top cover. Now that top cover could be lily pads, it could be spatter dock, it could be the flooded land that you see a lot of times in the low-lying lands around the eastern shore. Over in that area, they'll often be 10, 20, 30 or more feet of distance between where the structure starts on the shoreline. That's how much forest can be flooded back all the way to the actual shoreline. Because on the eastern shore, you'll have a lot of reeds or trees, bushes that either tidally or perpetually are flooded. And snakehead love that stuff. They love to get back in there. So what you have to do is find just about the most weedless lure you can, and then find those areas where you can pitch as far back as possible into that deep cover. And then once you're in there with those weedless lures, you want to have very strong line, 40 to 50 pound test, because you're going to have to wrestle those fish out of it when you hook them. And you have to slow down your presentation. Now the day I'm going to show you here, it was a bluebird sky day, so that was already working against us. The second thing that was working against us is it seemed like some of the fish were starting to go into a bedding mode again. And if you fish for snakehead for a while, you'll start to be able to recognize this behavior. They'll be in the shallows or in and around reeds, tearing it up, making that nest. I think that's what was happening with a lot of the more sexually mature fish on this day. I caught some small ones. You know, I'm not saying I didn't catch the small ones, I did. But I definitely found my biggest ones on this pattern that I'm telling you about right now. And that's them being farther back in the weeds where they feel safe from those above threats, from those predatory threats from above. And weedless lures, heavy line, and a slowed down presentation saved the day. The fish I'm about to show you that you're about to see, I had to stalk this fish for about 15, maybe as much as 20 minutes. I mean, I stalked this fish for a while because I would see his back come out of the water. I would see him moving around in the weeds. And it took that long for me to finally trigger that strike. I had to invade that area that he was occupying for that long. And even then, I had to use a dangle presentation. If you're not familiar with the dangle presentation, that's where you'll cast above, you know, the stem of a spatterdock plant, a low-hanging branch, something similar to that, and you're just dangling it. The line, here's like, you're over here, your line goes over, and you're dangling your lure in the water. What does that let you do? Keeps it in the same spot. And that's really tough. It's a risky move because depending on what you're casting over, you can get a lot of abrasion on it. You could possibly rub through the line. You know, you may hook the fish and then you can't get him over whatever you're actually over. You can't pull him back over. But this time I was able to. And I lucked out. I'll show you the action though. It's some good action. That fish was just, you'll hear me in the video. I was dumbfounded at times by what these fish were actually doing. So that's what we'll do now. I've told you the basic rationale behind their behavior in terms of what I've observed and the tactics that you should use to approach them on these bluebird sky days when the bite is relatively shut down, much more slow, and those fish are very apprehensive about coming out. So let's get to this one big one that's a prime example of exactly what I'm telling you to do. But questions or comments, let me know. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And let's get to the action.
I just saw a giant snakehead with his back out of the water back here. These fish are acting weird today. That much is for sure. I mean, some days snakehead are just in a mood. They're just not feeding. And I think today is such a day, unfortunately. Oh, that is so frustrating. So I saw his back come all the way out of the water. Put 2 casts over there and nothing. Not even a hint of movement. What the hell are they doing? There he is again. Look, you see his back out? There he is. There he is. You see him moving? Giant fish. Giant. Yeah, these fish just aren't feeding, man. There he goes. There he goes. There's the giant I was talking about. Doing what? I have no f***ing idea. Look at him. He's still f***ing around over here. I don't get it. Just don't understand what he's doing. Oh. See all those plants moving? That's him. There he is again. It's like bedding behavior. Honestly. That's what it reminds me of, is bedding behavior. There he is. There he is. Way back up in it. That fish is no less than 30 inches. It's over there off the point. See the pads moving? See that? Come on out. Come on. Yes! Dude, I stalked this fish for the past like 20 minutes, man.
And as soon as I roll up, you catch it.
It was just, like, I've been watching his back just come out of the water. Yeah, I'll need a picture with this one, dude. This one's huge. It's,
hit it hard. I saw it.
it's a monster, dude. It took me so long to coax this fish into hitting. It's ridiculous. Yep, I'm gonna.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the lip grippers on her and I'll hold her up. I had it on film for a while now. I had it on film for a while now because I've been watching her back come out of the water, Yep.
Especially because I've had an over just to see what they're doing. I can tell you what they're doing. Oh yeah, that's a good fish.
Yeah, dude. All right.
That's a good fish.
Look at the patterns on her too. All right, bro.
Very colorful.
Oh man.
All the way out. Let's get that long mouth.
There you are.
These snakehead with these vivid patterns are just gorgeous.
Pretty thick too. Get a measurement on it?
I'm about to. I'm gonna guess and say 30, maybe 31. I was dangling this out of a branch. Right at 30. Yep. Right at 30. All right, gorgeous.